Welcome to the Motherhood podcast with Denise Waters.
Hi, it's Denise, and welcome to the Motherhood podcast. This week, you get to hear from my friend Jen Glover. She's a local mom here in Arizona who shows her love through food. It's very similar to how my mom engages in the world, and so it really resonated with me. I think Jen is such a warm spirit and a kind heart, and I'm so excited for you to hear her insights into motherhood. Awesome. Good morning. Hi, Jen. How are you?
Good morning, Dad. How are you doing?
I'm good. Welcome to the Motherhood, where we will spend a little bit of time today talking about your motherhood journey and what's going on for you. So I'm so glad you're here.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, let's start with just tell me a little bit about yourself. Who were you before you were a mom?
Oh, gosh. So I pull it back. That could be, who was that as a person? Or who was that personality-wise, right?
Both. Yeah, absolutely.
Who was there as a person? I was a teacher before I had my kids. And once I had them, decided I was just going to be home with them. And I mean, they feel petty. I feel like I'm the same person as I was before kids, but I'm a different person. I still thought I have the same personality, I still act the same. I never really changed who I was, my true self. But I definitely am less of a free spirit, I guess. You know? So then I was more of a free spirit kind of person before I had kids. And so I feel like that changed it a little bit, which is expected.
Responsible for others.
Exactly. Yeah. I have to, make sure that they're stay alive.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And how old are your kids?
So I have two. The youngest is 17, and my oldest daughter is 21 this year.
So exciting.
Yes.
It's such an interesting time. I was talking to some friends who have littles, and I never want to discourage them, but it doesn't get easier. It's different.
Easier. And I don't ever want to be that person that's like, well, just wait, when they, because I'm like, people were saying that to me, I'd be like, okay,
Right.
So unless it comes up in conversation, then I tend to hold it, and it's absolutely 100% true. It's for your needs to be, it's just different kinds of problems, more real problems, more life-altering problems. You try to figure out how to help them navigate these problems.
Yeah.
It's, it fires them a little, but you're exhausted when they're over.
Yeah, I think that's exactly true.
Right.
What, how do you think you are different as a mom than how you thought you were going to be as a mom?
I think I'm always surprised at how much of a perfectionist I am as a mom that I wasn't expecting. Because I was not like that. I mean, I was always a very good student in college, very serious, and but wasn't that really high school. But took college very serious and was very excited to be good at college. Like, proud of something. I was proud of being excelling in college. But I didn't expect myself to be as much of a perfectionist as a mom. I thought I'd be more a little bit more laid back. I know perfectionist was when it came to how they needed to do things, but how I did things.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wanted our holiday to look perfect and to feel perfect. And I wanted to make sure everything felt magical. And that I wanted to create nothing but memories. So I feel like I did a lot of stress on myself to do that. Which is surprising because it kind of wasn't me or how I, and so that kind of surprised me,
absolutely.
just the perfectionist part. of wanting things to be look perfect in the outside perspective, but from inside perspective, how I hope that they built the good labels, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you
You
feel like
know,
you still have that, or has it tamed a little bit?
and it's a work in progress. You
Yeah.
know, I've tried to tingle a little, but it's all like it should be chill, or it can be, it doesn't have to, I can enjoy it too and not feel so
Mm-hmm.
stressed out. So I'm working on it for myself because Nathan asked me. I put it on myself, um,
Right.
you know, and
Yeah.
forcing things like we'll do trips over Christmas occasionally, so they're not out of here, So
Yeah, I
kind
do.
of
I
working on it.
That totally resonates with me around Thanksgiving. I would be
Okay,
like this just total stress case,
just
and former teacher myself, right? Like
okay,
working up
yeah,
until the day and then just like crazy. And now they're like,
just
we don't have to do Thanksgiving like that.
next. Yes, it
Yeah.
doesn't need to be that way, and they're okay either way. That's
Right.
that pressure that we're putting on ourselves that we feel like, but I have to have this dish and this dish, and then it's and then
Yeah.
kind of taking a step back, going, I don't have to make myself crazy and be stressed out. I've been enjoying it too. We're enjoying
Mhm.
it just as much.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah,
absolutely.
that part kind of surprised me a little because they will have a affections call, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um so that part kind of surprised me a little bit
Mhm.
as far as the way it was as mom. But um then there's other parts of me that it's kind of like, oh, I could that's how I could see, myself raising my kids, and it's kind of how I raise my kids. That
Yeah.
way too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's exciting to hear about. What's your mom community like? So you stopped working when you had the kids. Where was that? Um, did you feel like you had a good group around you, or has that changed over time?
I definitely feel like I had a wonderful sense of community, wonderful group of women that I was lucky enough to still stay in touch with. One just was visiting from Oregon, and that we used to push our babies around in strollers in this playgroup in this subdivision we all lived in, and they were just
That's
out, and so really when we locked out, like the quality of women that I was lucky enough to be around,
awesome.
and how supportive and there for each other we were. A lot of, if you each moved through this, I'll watch the kids. We had a lot of that, and
Yeah.
friendships that continue. So
Hmm.
it's like, rolling over into the elementary school years. A lot of friends made through their school. And I
Yeah.
definitely feel like it also has to do with what you put out too,
Yeah.
as far as putting yourself in those situations where you're putting yourself out there to receive that kind of support. Like if you
Hmm.
just kind of stay shut in, it's not
Right.
likely that you're going to have that kind of community. But I
Yeah.
really felt very lucky that I had that kind of great group of people and still do.
Yeah.
So close to people from the elementary school years, preschool years.
Yeah.
Some of my closest friends have been eight. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
that
then you
ability.
moved though, right?
Moved. So our daughter was born in Southern California. Um,
Okay.
we left when she was tiny, tiny baby. Um, and then have been kind of been basically in Chandler since then. But I moved homes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
So had
awesome.
a but been in Chandler pretty much the entire time.
That's
So
wonderful. Yeah. What a
yeah.
great opportunity to
Oh, for
have friends
sure.
that have seen you through.
Like just anything's like to make you feel like you're not losing your mind.
Right.
Like it's like I'm not crazy for this frustrating me, or I just need a sounding board to know that I'm not losing my mind.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think about like, especially as they get older, we were talking earlier about how like their problems get different.
mhm,
Um, and I do think we get a little bit more isolated because there's
mhm.
privacy and there's,
Yes,
bigger concerns and that type of thing. But still being able
sure,
to talk that stuff through is so vital.
so vital. I mean, that's you have found such a big things, especially at Gross. We had major thing happen for our son, and treated pretty poorly. And I have one friend within the community that she is a rock for so many people. She does a lot of work for a lot of people. And she helped me through this in a way that I don't know how I would have got through without her. And it was the private thing. It's not something that I wanted just to talk about with everybody, because sometimes it's just, well, keep privacy for your child. It's very important. And it's just not something I wanted to talk about with everybody. Whereas she helped me through it, okay, saying, and was the support and a listener and advice giver, and without her during that time, I don't know what I would have done,
Yeah, absolutely. That tether to somebody else, that you're not just on it and doing it alone.
Yeah, and how much, and I know that, I've seen other friends who have gone through it and who kind of keep themselves more isolated and don't reach and don't have that sense of other moms or other community, and how it does affect them, and how it does affect how they feel stress, how they deal with the kids, and how important having that. Yeah. Seeing it firsthand is kind of interesting.
Yeah, you make me think about baseball. We are new to this baseball group that we're in, and I can sit privately, or I can get up and I can go introduce myself to all the other moms. And the other moms aren't going to ignore me. They're going to say hi.
Right. It's that we feel, it's that we like revert back to our inner like child, right? Where it's like, really like, oh, I'm kind of, nervous to interject myself into that, Yeah, I mean, very similar. My son played basketball for years and years, and new club that it's kind of like, oh, and that's how I also made some of my best girlfriends who through basketball. But so exactly. It's putting yourself out there and just, I mean, actually, like, some people are more outgoing than others,
for sure.
For me, I don't have any problem talking to anybody, or approaching anyone, or but I remember for some people it's more challenging, but sometimes it's so good to put yourself out of it. And especially with this, to have that kind of support.
And to model it for our kids too, I think is really important. My kids will say, like, you talk to anybody, and I was like, well,
no, that's the same. That's our road joke, is like, all around the rush of it because you have a friend. Because you have a friend, so it's like, I'll come out of the coffee shop and they're like, were you talking about it? I said, well, I'll get out the plane and I have plans with somebody. And they're like, but it's good for them to see too. Exactly. Absolutely. It's all of that, that's, to be open to people. I just think in general is, more fascinating.
Yeah. Otherwise, we become super isolated, and then we can complain about it. And what parts have we done? I think that's really interesting. Let's talk about you as a human outside of being a mom. What are you doing as your kids are getting older? Your daughter's off in college. So you have time freed up. Like, how are you putting back into yourself?
So that's, so it's kind of, once I had kids, that's all I did. And it was my everything. I did, volunteer at the school, Girl Scout cheerleader. I was a house that everyone came to, I wanted, that was my role. All it was being mom. That was my 100% focus. It's just what I wanted to do. I loved doing it. And now that they're being older, it's kind of like, I need less time-wise, but I need a lot emotionally, which is too different things, right? So it's kind of interesting, because then it's like, you kind of set back and it's like, well, who am I? And what do I want to do? Right? And then, kind of taking it from these, what do I enjoy? I don't have to work. I know I'm very lucky. I don't have to work to do this. and I
Yeah.
don't like it. So I'm able to find things that I enjoy and go, what can I do with that? So I am kind of working on a small thing where food and catering and doing what I love, which is cooking. So people constantly why did you do something with your food? Because that's what your people do, they think of that. So so I'm kind of the heart you want doing something for myself. Within the role of food and preparing food for people.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do your kids have favorite meals that you make for them specifically?
They too. Yes, it's pretty much an Italian.
Yeah.
And we do you call me gnocchi every Christmas Eve. So that's something that they always look forward to. They oh gosh, I'm trying to think of some of my other things. There's certain soups for a reason that my daughter loves.
That's
I think
awesome.
that is very comforting to her.
Yeah.
And then my son likes some teriyaki chicken that they eat France.
Nice.
So kind of random
Very
things, but
fun.
yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so cooking has always been my way of showing love to people and my kids, and my husband. So it's kind of, for me, it's an extension of still continuing to nurture people, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it, kind of as a business in a way, but it's still something that I feel like I truly do love doing. So it's kind of exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. That's how my mom shows her love is through food too. So
okay, so it's definitely a
that's
thing.
definitely a love language here at our house.
It is. It really is. Yeah. And I feel like it's people have found me. Nurture so much is pretty for the next day. That is it. It's how I show love to people through the other ways. But to me, it makes me happy when he has back for lunch the next day. He can think of me. It makes me happy. So
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about hopes and dreams. And what hopes do you have for your children?
Gosh, honestly, my biggest hope for them is that they feel love and that they love themselves. Is truly my biggest hope for my kids. To always know that they are loved. Like, even if it goes much beyond that they feel that they love themselves. And my hope that all I truly care about, being successful and all that is great, but to me, it's more important to put the humans out into the world.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that the people that I'm putting out are good people and are good to other people and do good to those around them. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, as you look back on the last 20 years or so, like what have been some highlights of like things that you've done where you're like, that worked, and you would give that as advice to other people?
Oh gosh. See, that works. I think, the biggest thing is every time is I being that model of example of how I interact with people is how they pick up and interact. Like I got a postcard in the mail from one of his teachers. She must help me. She just wanted to wait me, and he's a junior in high school, so it's like you don't hear much communication, right, for teachers, because unless there's an issue, which but I'm away from it, right? And that postcard basically saying how much she adores him, how kind he is, how she likes that they can just have this nice conversation and have respect for you. And that just meant everything to me, to know that how he's engaging with adults, with people, and then her to say, this is how, the way he interacts with others, and like he's a kind person. Like to me, that's it, is that he treats people well. And so I think the biggest thing is him hopefully watching me do it. Um, and not being so hard on them. I think it's such a huge, I'm not a huge, like, either, my way or no way, and either
Right.
learn to be tough like that. I don't come from that school,
Yeah.
I'm much more, let's see what's going on with you, and then go from there.
Let's talk about the story and how that evolves and what parts can I influence and what parts can I not, and how do
Let's
we
not walk away.
create a story together about what we're all going through. You mentioned to me that you guys are traveling a lot.
Yes.
Is that with the kids, without the kids? How is that all working?
We do, it's a split. We have always included them our traveling. We started traveling with them when they were very young. And then, just kind of within the US, and then a lot of international travel with them. Even, at a pretty young age. So they're really good travelers. It's nice. I love for them to see different personal world. I think that's always been very important for us, for them to see that, we live in this little place on the planet, and this is all that's going on, and it does kind of create a greater scope of walls, and it's not just us that we care about. And so that was extremely important to us to show them. And I do feel like it's really made an impact for them. So we have always tried to put it in. And, some of our trips are just for us, anniversaries and whatnot. But we try to include it in a lot of our travel. Yeah. To experience different kinds of things.
Such a good balance to have, right? That we're doing things for ourselves, but we're also including them, that we can model that. I heard a story the other day that somebody had kids that were like 7 and 8, and it was the first time they were leaving them. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, I left my way younger than that. And I think it was a good thing.
Oh, for sure. I think where our son was 2, went to Italy for the first time. So we were far, and we knew, and I understand everybody's coming from a different place, different experiences, right? Of where the comfort level is. People, but
absolutely.
So it's like, it's also different for people. And I know that I knew for us, it was very important that we did that. And I would be back to wait till 7.
Yeah, me too. I think our oldest was 6 weeks old the first time we left, but we were very fortunate that my mom and my dad had just retired, and so he could stay home with him. And
different situations are it's from different takes of the site. But I do, travel, and truly travel is a huge part of our lives. We try to incorporate as much as possible and include them. And that we had a sense of adventure, like our son is definitely taken kind of after us in that sense of he's climbing, he's wants to go here, he's both experience life. And so, and our daughter's a little bit more reserved, but she's also very interested in people in these areas. Somewhere like actually different kind of, the friends of it that, so truly, I think travel, if it's possible, it's not always possible for everybody, because it's, but if it's possible, I feel like it has given us so much and been so important for us.
Yeah, that's great. I want to talk about your kids a little bit more, and how would you say 5 years from now, and they're looking back and they're saying, gosh, I just am reflecting on growing up. How would you want them to describe you?
Probably that I enjoyed being with them and that I was present with them. that I spent time with them.
Yeah.
Because that's how I feel our time was. So I hope that that's what they feel. That they
Yeah.
look back and feel like she and she wanted to be there. She
Yeah.
didn't just have to be there,
Yeah.
that she truly wanted to be involved in our lives.
Yeah.
That she had,
Yep. I
which
love
I
that.
did.
Yeah. That's really
I
cool.
want them to know that every duty
Yeah.
to me their mom.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And what does your story hold for the next 5 years? What do you hope to accomplish in the next, as they leave the house and
As they leave, gosh, so sad, but I hope to accomplish them finishing college to bring for the success that's them. That's not me,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
I would love to just kind of get this small business kind of and going,
Yeah.
and just kind of explore what I can do with that. Lots for traveling is what I look for.
Yeah.
And truly, I hope to kind of incorporate, now that I have more time, more things that have been an interest for me, things that I like to explore. Now that I have the time to do. So yeah, just kind of things that I always stay curious about taking ballet. So I'm like, I should be a ballet.
Yeah.
As funny as it is, but something
I'm game.
happens.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'll do it with
Yeah.
you.
Right. And like, it's like, wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love it.
Yes. So, yes. So it just kind of, things that spark my interest and I'm on a pursuit.
Yeah, absolutely. And how about sharing your story? Because I think that you have such a unique perspective and so balanced with your kids and such great insights. How do you share that with the world so that people can learn from you and kind of model their own parenting after you?
I mean, I think currently is a lot through just company of friends that I have who I talk to, and they're like, what would you do in this situation? Or this is what's going on, and what has worked for you? So, in that way, sharing. But to me, any way to kind of get a greater, I won't say audience, because it's not really audience, but reaching out to as many as possible to, is I would love to know how to do more of. Because I do think that's how we get through those folks in motherhood.
Yeah, I do too.
Others who have gone through it, who can kind of listen and advice when asked.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Advice.
Yeah. How do we build that community so that they can be?
Yeah, a greater kind of, span to reach as many as you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's
I know your daughter goes to. Sorry. No, I was just going to say, I know your daughter goes to college. Are you on any of those like Facebook or mom groups with her college?
Yes. Yeah. And so kind of what's the fun is, okay, I'm going to go finish to AU. She's
awesome.
AU. So, so that's kind of been very exciting from the perspective of, I was excited for her to kind of, because we have such a great experience there. So she's there now. And so, so I'm on a few different, Facebook groups. For that, and on my groups, things like that. Kind of, as honestly, as many connections as I can make, I do. I'm active in a lot of different, Facebook groups. I like engaging with people, and kind of, to me, in a way, just to spread whatever you could share that can help somebody else. I truly, truly enjoy doing. So that's kind of, I feel like, right, because of social media, that's kind of what gives us that platform too. Right?
Yeah, I think so.
And so, yeah, sharing anyway, any tidbit of anything that can be helpful for, being a mom, woman, anything like that,
Yeah.
is very interesting to me and things that I enjoy doing.
Yeah. Well, I just love your perspective, and I think that you bring such a good light into the world. I've loved being able to interact with you, and I am looking forward to a coffee date when you probably get back from your latest trip. And then
I would love
let's
that.
find a ballet studio in Chandler so that we can do ballet.
Okay, you're going to be doing it with me. This is where you sign up to just be prepared.
I love it. I can't wait.
Awesome.
Awesome.
I'm really enjoying that. Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, I've appreciated your time here talking about motherhood, and I can't wait to talk more.
Yes, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us for the Motherhood podcast. Please subscribe and like so that we can keep bringing you more episodes.